Okay, Sunrise Cup, first chance I've got to show you guys some of my games. This is, well, it looks like it might be my weighted cup. Different system this season, of course, so we can't can't ever say for sure. But yeah, 6 rounds, so we'll split it over 2 parts. And to go over the videos with me is Twiggy. Liam, how you doing, mate?
Not too bad. How's it going?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good, thanks. Full disclosure, I've not looked at these games back yet, and I've got no notes. Normally when I post-com, I have notes, so I can know what's going to happen. But this time I haven't got that, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. So I guess it may as well be live com for us, really. Well, certainly for Liam.
Yeah, it will be for me.
Yeah. Let's just start off by talking about my team for a little bit. The first thing I wanted to have on was Mantine because it's just very versatile. Initially, well, certainly a couple of weeks ago, I was very much in the camp of Pelipper rather than Mantine because of the flying damage output, which meant it could take on the grass types more. However, Pelipper can't switch into Galarian Stunfisk, and that was a huge no for me. I was struggling using Mantine a bit, to be honest, but then I watched some videos that a friend of ours, Jen, had recorded of her sweeping a practice tournament with Mantine. Took a few notes from her usage of it, and it's gone through the roof. So shout out to Jen. And I'm running the standard set on Mantine, Bubble Beam, Ice Beam. Then I wanted Galarian Stunfisk because it's Galarian Stunfisk. Even the counter users here can't switch in on it and win the zeros, so lovely safe switch. And then I kind of thought those two would be on most teams, and I think that is the case. So I wanted something that could beat both. So I picked Therathorn as my next pick. Now I'm not running Thunder. In practice, I felt like I was hitting Power Whip most of the time. Well, I was hitting Power Whip most of the time, unless I was facing Mantine or Pelipper. But at which point, Power Whip probably could have done the damage anyway. So I'm actually running Mirror Shot. Because, yeah, I see your face there. So I'm actually running Mirror Shot because what Mirror Shot gives me is the ability to beat a Abomasnow in the zeros and the ones. Whereas Flash Cannon does, but there's Beatty issues with that. And if you decide to play the 2s out against the Abomasnow, you lose hopelessly with Flash Cannon. Whereas with Mirror Shot, you get the chip damage. And actually, if you get 2 out of 4 out in the 2s versus the Abomasnow, if you get 2 out of 4 Mirror Shot attack drops, you can actually win the 2s, which feels like a lot, but when you consider each one is only 30%, it's not an outlandish amount. Another thing it gives me is that if I lead it versus Vigoroth, I can usually get a Power Whip, which usually goes unshielded, and then get a Mirror Shot, which often, it won't kill the Vigoroth, but it might get a defense drop, and it certainly leaves within farming range of the next thing. And it might force a shield as well. So I like that little niche matchup as well. So yeah, Ferrothorn's there. I really see a lot of versatility in Ferrothorn. I sort of saw it being something I'd use a lot. So that's weak to Vigoroth and fire types. So I wanted something that beat both of those. And so I went with AWAC. I don't particularly think AWAC's fantastic here. I think I tried with a bit with Victini, I tried a bit with Blaziken. Don't think any of the fires are brilliant, but ultimately Marowak's the one I'm most comfortable with, so just thought stick AWAC on there. And nothing wants to take a Shadow Ball anyway, so that's always handy. And you can get the occasional Bone Club bait if you need as well, so that's always a nice thing to have. My counter user I actually went Obstagoon rather than Vigoroth because, again, with Ferrothorn being weak to the fire types, and me thinking I'm going to use Ferrothorn a lot, and most fire types being a little Marowak, I thought having Obstagoon instead of Vigoroth provides me with that little extra bit of protection or bench pressure versus the fire types. And so actually when you look at my team overall, it's, unless you're really predicting hitting, lining up Ferrothorn with your fire type, bringing your fire type versus me is quite a bold move. So the added bench pressure is nice. It's also nice versus Drifblim, which is a bit of a problem so far. And actually, just generally speaking, it does what Vigoroth does for the most part. Some instances it does better, like I already mentioned that Vigoroth can't beat Galarian Stunfisk and Terraform in the zeros. Obstagoon can, I believe, because it's got Cross Chop, which does super effective damage. Obstagoon, because Night Slash isn't resisted by Skarmory, whereas Body Slam is. Obstagoon can beat Skarmory in the 1s and the 2s, not just the 2s. The main downside is, of course, the Vigoroth matchup, but you're never switching Obstagoon into Vigoroth. Vigoroth is switching into Obstagoon, you've got an energy lead, you can hit it with a Cross Chop, so you'll probably get a shield. So, not terrible. And then the final thing is Shadow Dragonite. Just sat there chilling. Now I was using Altaria a lot in practice and just having a fair bit of success with it. I spoke about it on Chat and Shit. Now, the Altaria was mainly there as a mutual counter to Mantine and Vigoroth. And it's not properly a counter to Altaria, to Mantine because of Ice Beam. Altaria isn't. Dragonite is quicker, so it outpaces it, and so it is a proper counter to Mantine. It's, as you can imagine, very, very squishy. Hits very, very hard. It's quite a polarizing Pokemon, so people look at it and might be a bit scared, but it's equally scary to use, and as we'll see in some of these games can be over very quickly both ways when Dragonite is involved. So yeah, what do you reckon to the team? Any thoughts?
So I'm still shocked by the Ferrothorn moveset.
Why?
It's just everyone talks about Mirror Shot and it just being just a useless move.
It's really bad.
Yeah. And to see it come here when you've obviously got the big hit in Thunder. I know Flash Cannon doesn't really hit, or it hits hard, but it doesn't really hit much here that well. Yeah, just threw me off a bit, that one. So you've already bought the spice with the Dragonite, and then bring a little bit of a spicy moveset on Ferrothorn.
There's nothing spicy about Dragonite here. It's very good.
Yeah. Were you not tempted by Fire Blast on Marowak? It is Fire Blast.
It is Fire Blast. For what reason?
Well, it's just that big hit and move. You're saying fires aren't really useful, and like you said, most people are going to expect you to throw a Bone Club. Just having that bigger move could surprise, because you're hitting a lot of things quite neutrally with that. I think a Vigoroth that's not really going to shield against you, you can just come out and absolutely shock them by just throwing a big move like that.
Yeah, I guess so. I think Shadow Ball does that for the most part anyway. And I think you can just about get away with beating Vigoroth with Bone Club. Yeah, I think Fire Blast has play, but perhaps more on the Hex variant, whereas I'm running Fire Spin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Shadow Ball is nuke enough, especially when Fire Spin doesn't have massive energy gain. But absolutely, for anyone out there who's running Hex, Fire Blast is a shout for sure. Right, let's get into it then. Round one versus Rob, the Magician. There was a few elites from last season in this. There was myself, Rob, Shaker Cole, V-Tenacity, Savage Boy. I thought, just please let me avoid them early. And then Rob pops up round one. His team of Altaria, Vigoroth, Mantine, Skarmory, Ferrothorn, G-Fisk. What do you reckon?
So how does the Shadow Dragonite against Altaria go?
Dragonite wins zeros because it's faster.
Yeah.
But as soon as Altaria uses a shield, Altaria wins.
Yeah, so I'm not particularly liking your Dragonite here at all. You've got a lot of steals, and then the Altaria sort of. I'm not going to say wall, but you're not going to. Don't think you're really going to find an Altaria zero shield situation here.
No, I think my thought of this, looking at this team, was, I like the Ferrothorn lead because I just think it's very brave to lead Altaria. So I don't think Rob will do that. I think if Ferrothorn lands in the lead against Mantine or G-Fisk, it's a winning matchup for me. His Ferrothorn has the mirror. Skarmory, he doesn't know I don't have Thunder, and I think Skarmory's probably better late game here. And Vigoroth is playable, so I think I lead Ferrothorn.
Yeah, I think what I'm seeing with Rob's team, and something that I struggle with Skarmory a lot. I'm looking, if I'm on Rob's side, I'm looking at your team going, I can't really see a big play for Skarmory, if I'm being honest. Because you get caught up against the Stunfisk, you get caught up against the Obstagoon. If you're brave enough to bring the Marowak as well, I just see being walled a bit too much.
Fair.
It'd be interesting to see if he does bring it.
Yeah, well, let's hit play and see what happens. We're going to play it normal speed rather than 1.5, just because we can talk more that way. So yeah, we see Ferrothorn, Mantine, Galarian, Stunfisk. So if he leads Vigoroth, I'm in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Now I make a strange play. I switch to Galarian Stunfisk because I can't switch to Mantine because then my Vigoroth count is gone. But I feel like I want to save the Ferrothorn for his Mantine later on, assuming he brings it. So Stunfisk is my play, and I might be able to land an Earthquake on it, you never know. Now, because he stayed in for a while, I'm able to get to 2 rock slides before he can debuff me.
Yeah, I was going to say, slightly strange counter switch at that amount of energy you had there. Okay, just letting the Mantine go by the looks of it.
I think I choose not to shield this because by letting it through, I can either take a shield or switch advantage here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I take switch. And this is looking a bit better for me now because now I can bring Mantine in.
Yeah. Although that Vigoroth's going to have a little bit of energy.
Yeah. So I think I probably shield here, knowing that I'm going to go for some debuffs. Oh no, I think I remember this. So I think I hold off throwing here, expecting him to want to switch. So yeah, so I shield that while it's full powered. So yeah, I think I hold off throwing, expecting him to want to switch, knowing I'd rather be able to debuff the thing that comes in rather than debuff him and immediately switch out. But he doesn't switch, so I throw the Ice Beam for the damage instead.
Yeah, good play, good play.
I try to get a switch there to take Tank and Body Slam with Ferrothorn, but it doesn't quite go through. And in comes Altaria. Now I know Ice Beam doesn't kill, so I go for the Bubble Beam to debuff, and then I go to Ferrothorn. Just because I'd rather have Ferrothorn versus this than versus the Vigoroth.
Yeah. So I assume you're just going to go for a lot of chip damage now, just fire off those mirror shots, potentially get some more debuffs.
Well, to be honest, what I see here that how much the Sky Attack does, and I see there's no way for me to win this. I feel like this game's gone. So rather than showing the mirror shot, I decide decide to accept this game as a loss and hide the mirror shot, so straight power whips. Yeah. I mean, maybe there was play with mirror shot there, but it's just Mantine's just too low to be able to, and I'd use my energy on the bubble beam debuff. So yeah, it was game really.
Yeah. Stage pro plays that I don't keep up with. Just show my moves straight away, even if it's illusion.
Although I get close here, actually, I get close to farming him down. With a lot of energy left, and maybe had that farm down gone through, maybe I would have been able to pull it back by getting a bait. So
that dragon breath so intense though, whether or not you'd be able to throw a bubble, then an ice beam would have been close.
Yeah, that's true actually. So 0-1 down. Not a great start, but reasonably close games given the bad lead. So happy enough with that. Especially given that Rob didn't really make a mistake. So it's not like he let me back in or anything. So I think I just played as well as I could given the circumstances. This time, what am I thinking here? Ferrothorn in the middle. I feel like I probably want to bring Stunfisk here, given that Altaria caused me problems there.
Well, I was going to say double steal in the back. It's quite dangerous.
Yeah.
Strategy knowing that, I suppose, led Vigoroth last time, so I can sort of see your thinking there.
Yeah, so maybe I'm thinking he didn't want to lead Vigoroth twice in a row, so I'm going with Obscure lead. And what's nice about this is that you're all
over the place here.
I am. Yeah, so what's nice about this is that if he leads Vigoroth, I've got 2 switch-ins.
Yeah.
This isn't a particularly good matchup, but what I can do, I think, is get to a Rock Slide and then bail.
Yeah, you can definitely get to 1 first.
So I think that's what I do. Yeah.
So annoying thing switching on Mantine as you know you're going to get debuffed.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine, because what I'm doing here is I'm inviting out the Skarmory if it's there. Now Ferrothorn comes in, which is obviously a pain in the backside, but I'm debuffed anyway, so it's not like I've lost a huge asset here.
You weren't debuffed there through the ice beam.
Oh yeah, that shows how much attention I'm paying. Yeah, well, either way, I've drawn out a Steel type, which is potentially difficult for Galarian Stunfisk to deal with.
Yeah.
So. Now here, I choose to go for the Bubble Beam rather than the Ice Beam because I think he might shield, given that he's on the Ice Beam would put him very low. He doesn't, but the debuff means I can get to another one. So he's now.
That's nice.
And then I think, if I remember rightly, I make a bit of a fancy play here. So rather than going straight to Dragonite, I think I go to G-Fisk to bait out a Power Whip.
Okay.
And then make the immediate switch.
Oh, it's lovely. I'm interested to see what a double debuff Power Whip's going to do to a Shadow here.
Very little.
Ooh, yeah. That's nice. Have you ever seen Shadow Dragonite get hit by that little?
No, actually not. So I decided to shield this. I think it's probably Thunder, and it is. Then in comes the Mantine. And he's got 2 shields, so obviously he's going to shield this.
Yeah.
A little bit of lag here.
Oh yeah.
Perhaps I remember at the game it felt neutral in the game, but actually looking back, maybe that wasn't neutral.
Yeah, it's one of those weird ones where obviously Dragon Breath's so quick, but the bubble feels so slow that it's really difficult to tell.
Yeah, but fortunately, I don't think it mattered overall. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to shield this. And then I come in to catch a body slam. I mean, maybe it mattered. I don't know. Yeah, sorry, Rob. I did feel at the time like it was mutual, but maybe it wasn't. I don't know. And then I'm able to just rock slide both the Ferrothorn and the Vigor off for the win.
Some really good switches there to bring that back.
Yeah, it was a tough game. Yeah, it was a close one. Yeah, looking back, I think that like probably did matter actually. Oh well, not much you can do.
Yeah,
well, not much you can do now anyway.
No.
Into a decider though. So there's a long pause here while we discuss.
Okay, so yeah, there was a long discussion then.
Yeah. So we go to the third, and having seen how well Dragonite did versus him, I decide I want to lead it. I think. Although I changed my mind again. That'll be a theme of these live tournaments, I guess. Change my mind. Mantine, equally solid lead, really. As if I'm right, if I remember rightly, he's brought Ferrothorn in the back both times so far. So if I want to bring Mantine, I feel like I use it as a lead here, maybe.
Still thinking about this one. Bold back to a Starmie and Beedrill.
So yeah, it's Mantine, Dragonite, G-Fisk, and straight into the Altaria. Now, interesting matchup because he gets to see Ice Beam and Sky Attack CMP here. So if I'm going to bait, I really should be doing it on the first one to debuff the Dragon Breaths that come in. But I decide not to, so I go straight for the Ice Beams. It's too early to make a big decision like that for me in a match. Try switching to G-Fist to tank the Sky Attack, but of course it's CMP.
It's one of those annoying ones where you know it's CMP because you want to go for the bait, but you know if you're half a second too early, the other person's going to know, and if you're half a second too late, well, they're throwing the move before you.
Exactly. And again, I feel like if I was going to bait, I should have done it first time around, so I'm going to go straight for the Ice Beam.
Ice Beam.
Now, at this point, I'm a shield up. Maybe I should save this shield to Dragonite, given that I've got Stunfisk in the back as well. But I decide no, I'm just gonna go through. Now I've got to decide: do I trust the game? Do I trust the game to keep CMP? But no, but Rob's thinking the same, so I go to Stunfisk to try and back to Sky Attack. And Rob's thinking the same.
Nice to see both pro players know exactly the same thing about the game.
So yeah, that's a huge swing in the game. Great minds think alike and all that. So, and Mantine wins this, I believe.
I would have thought so because by the time you get to another one, I believe you probably go straight Ice Beam here and take it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it did more than that. Oh, the bubble damage. Yeah.
So I'm going to try and farm down because I know I've got to save the Ice Beam for Altaria.
Yeah.
But I can't, at the same time, I can't risk taking damage. So I go for the Bubble Beam to try and give myself the opportunity to get more bubbles back, but it does more than I would have liked.
It's always a weird one, Bubble Beam. You don't want to undercharge it because it's going to do absolutely nothing. But then again, you don't want it to do that much damage.
So it's looking like a tough game. Now that's a mistake, because what I need to do there is I need to go to the ice beam and then switch out, because that was a perfect opportunity for me to save the ice, to get to the ice beam and save it for the Altaria.
Yeah.
Although I guess what happens there is that then I switch out to Dragonite and I die to the Altaria. I beat the Altaria and then I just die to Vigoroth. So
yeah, it's a really tough one, that.
Yeah, I think the sort of mutual switch at the beginning, sort of. Oh, and there we go. I stopped recording. Yeah, the mutual switch at the beginning made it very hard for me to come back for there. But again, take nothing away from Rob. Robbie played it well. Didn't give me a chance to get back into it. So
looking back, going to the zero shields, obviously not knowing what's in the back compared to what you've got in the back, it swung it in Rob's favour there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I've perhaps spoken about this before somewhere on my channel, but if you're going to use Shadow Dragonite, you have to save shields for it. And I just didn't. And I think that's something. It was something I knew, obviously, and then something I just ignored. And I think that stuck with me for the remainder of the tournament, actually. So
yeah, I think you got very caught up in the first matchup.
Yes.
And you obviously slightly annoyed with yourself for not going for the bait first, and then saw your opportunity to go straight ice beam and win it. But then obviously forgetting you've got something very, very glassy in the back that probably would benefit from saving the shield.
Yeah, absolutely. But there we go. So 0-1 down to Rob. And you know what? It at least with him winning the round, it minimises any potential impact of the lag in game 2. So.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good, actually. There we go. On to round 2 versus NBC 1989. Double grass. Abomasnow Ferrothorn with the Mantine G-Fisk core with Vigoroth and Skarmory. What's your initial thoughts?
See, I'm not the biggest fan of Abomasnow this meta. Haven't used it anymore. I think there's just a lot of, certainly your team's got you've obviously got Ferrothorn as well in there with your mirror shot, so I think the Abomasnow's pretty safe to play around. I don't think you bring Dragonite at all. I think again you've got the triple steal in there.
Yeah, plus with a couple of things that can hit me with Ice Beam.
Yeah, exactly. I think I do like Obstagoon here, though.
Yeah, as do I. Now, Obstagoon here, it beats Galarian Stunfisk, it beats Ferrothorn, it beats Skarmory, it beats Abomasnow. And Vigoroth doesn't particularly want to switch in. And if Mantine switches in slowly, it'll beat Mantine in the zero shields. So I like the look of Obstagoon as a safe switch here. I think so that means I want a lead that can deal with Mantine and Vigoroth. So I go with Ferrothorn again because it deals with Mantine and it's not a disaster versus Vigoroth.
No.
And actually, so my line here is Ferrothorn, AWAC, Obstagoon, which you might look at and think, well, if he leads Vigoroth, you can't switch anything into it. Because I could switch AWAC into it and then he switches out and then I have no Vigoroth counters. But because Ferrothorn runs it so close, it puts it farmable for something, and then Obstagoon's big counter's gone.
Yeah, I was certainly going to say you would just sack the Ferrothorn in the front and I'd just come in with Marowak and just have a field day.
Yeah, so let's see what happens. So again, worst case scenario, really. But I know with Body Slam being resisted and Bulldoze being neutral, I'm not in any immediate danger, as we say, so I can stay in, sack the Ferrothorn, and take a shield, which is nice.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah.
That's me just pulled up the switch menu just to check that I had nothing I wanted to switch in. So again, deciding I'm not gonna.
You're going for the body slam's good for you though, because like you say, you can get into another power whip, and now you've really got the vigor off nice and low.
Yeah, that was really helpful actually. The fact that he went for body slam. Just fall short of the mirror shot, but that's fine. And there's some nice farmable fire spins here. Shield this. Worst case scenario is he comes in with Mantine after this, and that ain't going to want to take a Shadow Ball.
No.
No risk of this one being a.
No, this is only going to be a body slam, yeah.
Minimal damage.
It's lovely and resisted that, isn't it?
Yeah. So we see the Mantine does come in, so I'm able to get a Shadow Ball off. And then straight into Obstagoon with the lowered health on the Mantine.
You're in a fantastic position here because there's your two main Obstagoon counters in inverted commas gone.
Yes. Yeah. And the fact that he's not switching anything into this suggests that he's struggling for something else in the back to take on Obstagoon.
I think it'll be a Bomber Snow or Stunfisk.
Yeah, it feels that way at the minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, Night Slashes again. Night Slashes doing the same job as Body Slams here on Vigor off.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, that's just my phone.
So you get the shield out of him there.
And the nice thing about Night Slashes, you've got that nice chance of the Absolutely Mahusive attack buff.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, and there we see Ferrothorn. So I hold on to the Night Slash in case I need it, and then just go into.
Oh, yeah. You're not tempted just to throw the cross chop.
No, because I thought I'd hold on to that and the shield in case I needed it to hit the Mantine with.
That's me not paying attention to your shields.
Ah, there we go. That's one each of not paying attention now. Yeah. And now I'm at the point where I think Marowak can just farm this down and then hit the Mantine anyway. So that's a 1-0 lead. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good example of how Obstagoon can be so good in this meta.
Yeah, and also an example of why you don't always have to switch out of a bad lead.
Yeah.
So what happens next?
You've got to be tempted to run something similar.
Interesting that I go straight for the Dragonite lead. Like nothing.
Nothing quick.
Yeah, it was.
You've seen how good Obstagoon is. Yeah, I thought that straight in. No, Dragonite, bam. You're going to bring Vigoroth. You're going to see Dragonite.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Obstagoon in the back. Again, which means I need the lead to handle Mantine and Vigoroth, which Dragonite does, really. So maybe that's what I was thinking. And then Mantine in the back is pretty solid all over, really. I mean, obviously, it's got Thunder to tank from. Well, it doesn't tank, does it? I guess it just kills. It's got the Thunder to worry about from Ferrothorn, but worst comes to worst, I can land an Ice Beam there if I need to. It's a bit of chip.
Definitely thinking about this one.
Yeah, I'm quite pleased looking back actually that I took my time on these.
Yeah.
I'm just messing around with the order of the two in the back, thinking about which order, because I often like putting my save switch on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice and close to the switch button, isn't it?
Yeah. Although it might be this game where I actually make a mistake in switching to the wrong one, but we'll see. So Dragonite lead, into the Vigoroth again, so that's worked out nicely. Oh no, I remember this game. So Dragonite beats Vigoroth in the 0s and 2s because it can tank one body slam and kill with a Dragon Claw, or it can completely farm down, but 2 body slams will kill Dragonite. So I'm just committing to going 2s. I'm going to get my shield out of him, and then I'm going to farm down all the way. And then the next thing that's going to come in is going to have to chew an Outrage. Which, even if that's Galarian Stunfisk,
It's not going to want to see it, is it?
no, it's like 40% or something, I think. Yeah.
So that's definitely why Shadow Skarmory is going to be so interesting, because that brave bird damage could be.
Oh, he lives on pubes. I thought I was going to win that matchup, and I spoke to my opponent afterwards, and it turns out it was a rank 1 Vigoroth.
Oh, missing your rank 1 Sims.
Yeah, and so now I'm switched down and shield down.
Down, yeah.
But I've got 2 G-Fist counters in the back.
Yeah, it depends what the final one's going to be.
And his main Obstagoon counter's gone. So I go into Obstagoon here to take a debuffed Rock Slide.
Very nice.
I still think it's an uphill battle here.
Yeah, anything but the Mantine now, and I think he would have been sitting really, really well.
Unless I get loads of boosts, which would be lovely.
What a matchup this could be, boost versus debuffs.
Well, yeah. But I think, to be honest, even with boosts here, I think it's game. Because Ice Beam does a fair chunk. I think Obstagoon's bulkier than people give it credit for, I think.
It certainly feels like it should be squishy. It's just one of them Pokemon that you just think, it's going to be a bit squishy.
Well, there we go. There's the boost. Just a little bit too late, but now my Mantine's full health here. So I feel like if I can get some energy up on it before the Stunfisk comes back in, I might be able to do something.
You'd love to be able to farm down, wouldn't you?
You would. I wasn't seeing it happening, so I thought, I just got to hope this kills. Just got to hope this kills.
Again. I've certainly seen that far too much this tournament. Well, I say this tournament, this meta. And then, one Rock Slide and you're done for, no matter how many debuffs you get on that. Yeah,
that's it, isn't it? No chance. So the rank 1 Vigoroth coming in clutch for my opponent there, holding on to the Dragonite matchup.
And went for the 1 shield flex as well. Look at that.
I mean, I'd have done the same thing. Let's face it. So down to a decider again. Oh, the Quillfish.
It is great seeing some of the auto-rep picks you get compared to some of the stuff that I get. It's unbelievable.
So there you go, another long think.
I would be surprised if you didn't bring Marowak. I thought that really did well in the first game. Gave you a really good option.
Yeah, because nothing really wants to take Marowak on his team apart from the Mantine. So looks like I go for the Mantine lead.
Ferrothorn back in.
Probably Obstagoon in the back again.
Yeah.
So worst case scenario here is seeing the Abomasnow lead.
Yes.
Because if the Abomasnow leads, I've got to go into Ferrothorn, I guess.
Because you don't want to bring out your hard counter straight away, and certainly knowing that Vigoroth's come both games, and Vigoroth is more than likely to come this game. You're not going into...
Oh, last minute change. Oh. Dragonite in for Ferrothorn.
On the edge of the seat stuff, this.
That no messing about, straight in, straight pit. Yeah, so I catch the lead again, which is, well, not again, but catch the lead, which is nice. There we go. See the switch, and so I guess Ferrothorn and Dragonite function the same here, and that they are the Mantine counter switch. So
Yeah,
they're both sort of there in the 6 as that sort of option. So they are a little bit interchangeable. I go for the shield. There's absolutely zero chance I'm risking that being a bait.
I did think you were cutting it close though.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, mate. I was thinking about it. Yeah, I overfarm a little bit so I get some energy on in case he decides to let it through. And again, I'm not gonna risk this, surely. Yeah, again.
Certainly that one I don't risk because you're that low health. What's the point of throwing the bait there?
Yeah, that's true.
And it's nice that you can farm down.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I got up to the outrage there and decided not to throw it. So I think I can probably get 2 Dragon Claws.
Yeah, I think you'll get to 2 quite easily here. That's nice. Yeah, I can certainly see the polarizing opinion there. Is when it's good, oh, it's good.
Yeah, I mean that Dragon Claw did so much damage.
Yeah.
That's just So I'd go down to a body slam here, but at this point, Dragonite's taken out 2 months, more or less.
And you've got something in Mantine that's gonna. Wow, I forgot you were on that much health. Yeah, Dragonite's done bits there, hasn't it? Really?
It has. And that's it. When my opponent does something like bring Vigoroth, Mantine, and Ferrothorn, or something like that in the first 2 games, and he has perhaps no intentions of bringing G-Fisk and Skarm, then Dragonite's safe for us. And so yeah, G-Fisk in the back, Obstagoon's going to take him. Cross chop here. And in this instance, it's not crucial that Obstagoon wins the zeros, but in another instance, it might have been. And I know another example of why I prefer Obstagoon to Vigoroth here.
I wouldn't have trusted Vigoroth in that instance to pull this off. Certainly, if the switch was relatively quick on your side, but still a couple of mudshot leads against the Vigoroth, and you're coming out with a little bit of health, and potentially a little bit of energy.
Yeah. So there we go, back up to 1-1, and Dragonite has redeemed itself. Do you know what? I used Dragonite a little bit in practice, and it wasn't doing great for me at all. So it felt like a bit of a risk sticking with it. But I just sort of figured that if I ever went sort of 2-0 up, I'd try and use Dragonite in the 3rd just to try and get comfortable with it. And starting to get a bit more comfortable with it now.
Now you're going 1-1 and using it in the 3rd, same.
Well,
a bit more risk.
Yeah, that's true. So the 3rd round and the final battle for this part, Nyx 1965, Skarmory Mantine, Abomasnow Vigoroth, and double Stunfisk.
I hate double Stunfisk. It feels like such a risky strategy, but when I come up against it, it just ruins me.
Well, what I'm thinking here is that there's. I mean, if he brings the standard Stunfisk, what's he going to try and catch with that? Like, yeah, Mantine, but it's not a clear matchup. Marowak's not a clear matchup. Galarian Stunfisk isn't a clear matchup. There's nothing on my team that I feel particularly uncomfortable being in against the Stunfisk. So I'm not worried about it really. And again, Obstagoon feels like a nice switch in for me.
Yeah.
And on that point, I want to lead with something that can beat Mantine. So I'm going to lead with Ferrothorn and have Mantine in the back again. No Dragonite immediately because he's got double steel plus the Abomasnow, and I don't know whether he's going to want to use him. So let's hit play.
certainly interesting. This being the first time in a Silph tournament where I've certainly seen a double up of a normal and a Galarian that you can use together.
Yeah, they're both good in their own right, really.
Yeah.
So here we see for the first time, I think, the Ferrothorn Mantine matchup without the Thunder. I do the extra Bullet Seed to make it look like I've got the Thunder, but that actually means he gets the
debuff first.
But I give him opportunity to switch out, and he takes it. So I'm happy with that. This has worked out really nicely.
And you know they're only going to be going for rock slides here, so you've not really got a reason to shield. And then I assume that now you're just going to match them up on their shields to get to keep the switch advantage.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And again, it's only another rock slide again, so I'm just trying to over farm here if I can.
Yeah, just in case they don't go for the shield, meaning you've got at least something to hit the next mon with.
Yeah, although that does less than I thought it did, to be fair.
So it's non-stab and it's only a cross chop.
Yeah, it's a weak move, isn't it?
Yeah.
And G-Fisk's bulky, so... But I'm still very close to another one. I think comes the Vigoroth. I don't quite get it. But I've got Mantine in the back, so...
Yeah, it's still looking nice in a good position here.
Yeah, I've completely rock, paper, scissors him, really. I've won the lead, had a counter switch, and had something in the back. It's just one of those GBL type games where it falls nicely, unfortunately. Well, fortunately from my perspective, I guess. I'm going straight Bubble Beam versus Vigoroth. Because I want to try and force him out so I can get back into this nice matchup.
Yeah, now you've got double power whip against... well, you're not buffed anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
Interesting, no shield.
Yeah. Well, I think he'd probably just given up, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
or wanting a lot more farm on the Ferrothorn with the Vigoroth.
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually. That's a good shout.
That's a problem. Could be an interesting final stint here.
I don't know, he's pretty low. Again, I'm not going to reveal the mirror shot, I don't think.
If we go the whole tournament and you don't even use it, I'll be fuming.
Do you know what? I can't remember if I've used it this tournament. I certainly have used it in games before this tournament, and it certainly won me a couple of games. Like, just having that little bit of chip damage. Like, you know when you kill something with the Bone Club with Marowak right at the end? Or like you stack 2 and finish 2 things off. Like, it's definitely done that.
There's no proof on YouTube though, so it could all be lies.
It could all be lies, I guess. It could. Yeah, Vigoroth's just got far too much to do here versus Mantine.
I do forget that there's the thing called the switch clock exists sometimes in these matchups. You just come straight back in with Mantine, forget the farm, and yeah, this is GG's.
Yeah. So nice, comfortable game 1 for me. Let's have a look what happens in game 2. So that was Mantine, Vigoroth, G-Fisk, which my opponent brought. So it wouldn't surprise me here to see myself use Ferrothorn again to have that double up on the Mantine and G-Fisk counters. It wouldn't surprise me to see myself use Dragonite to have the double up on Mantine and Vigoroth counters. And then maybe Mantine for G-Fisk and Vigoroth. So there we see Dragonite.
Bold with the Dragonite pick. It's almost like you're trying to convince yourself you're going to use it straight in, bam. I'll straight back out again.
Yeah, it's Marowak. That's an odd one. What did I
can see that.
Oh yeah, I remember this. So I was thinking I led Ferrothorn and he got really hard countered by that. So maybe he's going to lead a Ferrothorn counter this game. So maybe I'll lead Marowak, but then I changed my mind again. So Mantine lead looks pretty solid. Obstagoon safe switch looks pretty solid. Ferrothorn in the back. It's always nice to have a Mantine switch in, isn't it?
Definitely. I still can see the play of Marowak, but
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I guess my issue with Marowak is it's not quite as good versus Vigoroth and Skarmory as you would want it to be.
Mm.
Oh,
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 what didn't we like?
oh, come on. G-Fisk. Interesting.
I was, yeah,
Who needs a
not
Mantine
to,
switching, eh? Oh, well,
yeah, not to question.
I guess it was maybe I felt a little weak to Skarmory, I guess maybe. So I did my save switch to Obstagoon, because I know I've got to save Mantine for a Vigoroth.
Mm.
And again, we see him being quite fairly slow, or certainly not uber fast with the switching. So I know I can win the zeros here.
Yes, it's one of those switching obstacles where if you're going to switch into Vig, you've got to be very quick.
Yeah.
That second guessing yourself there potentially didn't force out the Vigoroth there, which means you've still got your Mantine in for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I knew, well, I was quick with the switch Obstagoon into Skarmory because I was confident that Obstagoon will beat the Skarmory. And I think Mantine beats it generally, but as I say, I knew I needed to save the Mantine for Vigoroth.
Yes.
Oh, you cut out there, mate. What was that?
Oh yeah, sorry, computer froze. I certainly don't like the Skarmory Mantine matchup now. Skarmory has Brave Bird.
No, it's not as nice, is it?
He did get the boost.
Yeah. Surely a shield here. No. Oh, that's a brave play. Oh yeah, because I know I can come back into Mantine and farm now.
It's just painful to let a buffed.
It is, but if I'm going to be giving up switch advantage, I can't give up shield advantage as well.
Yeah.
And I know, as I say, the thing I know we could bring into Mantine is Skarmory, which I know I can beat with a bit of energy anyway. Yeah. Now this is the reason. Now this is the reason I don't like normal Stunfisk.
Yeah.
Just this matchup is not as nice as you would want it to be.
Certainly is that Thunder Shock. No, it is Mud.
It's Mud Bomb.
Yeah.
And he has to beat the G-Fisk here with his Stunfisk. And now this is the reason it doesn't do a great deal with Mud Bomb really. And I know he has to win this. He has to win this matchup, so he has to shield really. So I'm going to go for I have to shield as well. So I don't know why it's so long, but so I'm going to go for a bait. I make sure he knows that I've got an Earthquake by just going that little bit further, and then get the bait, and then beat him to the Earthquake. So the last minute change to Stunfisk is coming in rather handy here. I think I shield this because I want to make sure I land my Rock Slide.
Yeah. Well, I suppose in that situation, your Ferrothorn's gonna do bits against the Stunfisk as well.
Yeah, it's just going to struggle versus the Skarmory a bit more.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Thunder it's going to lose to the Skarmory.
Yeah. That's good. Good to Skarm through its energy there as well.
Yeah. So that takes us to 2-0.
Got to see the Dragonite now, surely.
You'd have thought so, wouldn't you? You'd have thought so. Yeah. Let's have a look.
That's a disgusting amount of Great League wins, that.
I've been playing for a long time now. So Ferrothorn lead, which we know I like. Probably Obstacle and Safe Switch again. I'm still thinking about it. You can tell I was in the zone. You know, 2-0 up, and I've not just gone straight to Dragonite. So, oh, there's your AWAC.
Oh, there we go. I thought so.
It's a similar setup to we've seen me use earlier in the tournament, where I started with the Ferrothorn, but only had one Vigoroth counter.
Oh, not the lead you want.
Well,
but you had your mirror shot, but
yeah, because this is the exact thing I wanted to be switching Obstacle going into.
Yeah.
Because now I've got that stored up against Marowak later.
Interesting. No, clearly no Vigoroth again this time.
Which is good for Ferrothorn.
Oh, 100%.
So I know I win 1s and 2s as long as I don't allow a Brave Bird through. I'm surprised I blocked that actually. People tend not to throw Brave Bird straight away, so maybe on another day I might have let that one through. Going straight for Night Slashes. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
And this is perfect because I bring Ferrothorn into this, and then I've AWAC in the back for the Evolus now.
As difficult as you are working out the shield there, when it wouldn't be a Brave Bird, just allows you to do so much chip damage to this Mantine now.
Yeah, and it guaranteed me winning switch advantage, which when I know I've got Marowak in the back and I know that he's got a Abomasnow in the back, winning switch is huge.
You want to line them up 100%.
So yeah, I mean, shielding versus the Skarmory definitely was the right play. Yeah, and I just about get to another one, Filthy. This is about the time I normally get the boost, just when I'm about to die.
That'd be. Oh no.
Yeah,
that's 90% of health gone. There.
I'm really. What's he going to do to Ferrothorn? See how the Ice Beam does. Oh no, he keeps going for Bubble Beam. I mean, he doesn't know that I've got AWAC in the back, so probably the right play. Debuffing me, and then happy to let this go through.
Be interesting to see how much this does to Ferrothorn.
The feral chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then AWAC just comes out.
It's a disgusting amount of damage that.
Yeah, so that's it. 3-0 in the round 3, and up to 2-1 overall. So we'll call it there for round 1, for part 1, and part 2 will be out soon.